Every fertility ad you have ever seen ends at the positive test. The stick, the tears, the nursery, the baby crying. This one starts there, and the research behind it is the best insight I've read this year. Momentum went and spoke to people across every stage of their fertility journey. What they found was, for a lot of them, the future feels suspended, held in a kind of protective uncertainty, where imagining life beyond having a baby feels too risky to even attempt. And fertility advertising has been reinforcing that by anchoring everything on the moment of conception or birth. It leaves people in that exact place that most of them want to get out of. So let's have a look at Genea. They've got a very different approach. Let's cut to Genea's latest asset right now.
The science of advertising.
Hi, I'm Siobhan and this is Florence. She is 3 years old and she is a Genea baby.
Marcus, I'm going to cut to you. Thoughts on this ad? Effective, non-effective? What's your read?
I love the Polaroids. Lots of nice little stories in there. In terms of it being effective, I assume it's a part of, the longer fit or brand building, and maybe I get retargeted after watching it. Also, good work for the client of getting their logo watermarked in the bottom right-hand corner the whole time, which I assume was classic client feedback. But in terms of it being effective, I'm really curious to hear what our friend Pete here thinks.
Pete.
Wow. Well, look, congratulations to, is it Genea? I'm not sure.
Genea.
Interesting, yeah. I might take the classic micro and then macro view on is it effective and that type of thing. I'd be so curious to understand how that would, is that sticky enough to hold someone's attention all the way through a social media execution? Okay, the micro, congratulations. The most important moment in that whole creative is she's a Genea baby, right at the start. The reason why I say that is because that is the single most important thing you need to communicate. It's Genea, not IVF. And that colours the whole communication all the way through, providing that a consumer will sit all the way through. But that's another question, which is the one I threw to you earlier, Marcus. So that's the micro, so important, and congratulations on doing that. And I say that because most marketers don't have the courage to even do as little as that at the start and reveal, hey, here we are. In terms of macro, a beautifully emotionally, sort of creative, beautiful execution. I still come back to the micro. If that wasn't a Genea comment at the start, I think it'd be dramatically less effective than what it is now.
And I love that there's real people in there. They're all actual customers or actual clients. So
it's that social proof testimonial style in a really different way, which, look, there's several things to it. Pete, do you think that's enough? I'm a Genea baby.
Yes.
Do you think that's enough for this ad?
I think it is. Like, I couldn't help but think of the classic purchase funnel, like, and the category in which we're talking about. The journey a couple must go on to get to the decision point to purchase, to go with Genea, is extraordinary. So it's not for the faint-hearted, an IVF product. It's way different to buying a hamburger. Or a piece of chicken. So so you have to respect that. But I do think the answer is yes, only because they declare who they are right up front.
See, I disagree with that statement. The ad up front is before the emotion really hits. I've nearly forgotten that before I've got the emotional pull going through. So do I link that opening statement before the big memory swings? I love this execution. It is incredibly moving. There's one thing I love about the insight. We have worked in IVF for quite a period of time. And one of the insights on a landing page, if you show a baby or a newborn baby as a landing page, conversion rate actually declined. You think that's what you're buying as a new baby or a newborn. It's actually not. It's what I can't have. That's what I want, but I don't have it right now. I know IVF is the promise. They've flipped that. You're buying a family now. This is what this ad is. I'm buying that journey. I'm buying the memories. I'm buying children as they grow up, not just the newborn.
Yeah, I agree with what you're buying, but my point still remains, JR, and that is you have to own that story. You have to own that journey. It's not IVF, it's a Genea baby. And if you don't announce who it is or associate with your brand with all those beautiful, emotional, warm shots of years into the future, it's a waste of money.
It is. So I'll challenge you on it. You didn't even know who that brand was. Is it Genea?
Sure.
So that moment there, I would suggest didn't really stick because you didn't even know how to say the brand name. It has one opportunity to recall brand in that entire sequence, and there's nothing throughout the ad as deep emotion. So I love an ad where deep emotion or the cascade of chemicals is swinging and your brand is anchored in those moments. They have the watermark. So that is the one thing they do have, but it's really subtle. Outside of that G, if you can recall it's a G, it is really subtle. Beautiful ad. Could it encode brand more? I'll go deeper.
Yes. Let's.
This feels like a category job of IVF rather than Genea specifically. Why would I go with Genea over any other IVF provider?
Because of the 40,000 customers and all of those Polaroids and that girl playing the violin. It was beautiful.
It was a beautiful ad that made you feel. So there is a part where I feel closer to Genea than other brands, but there's no promise of why Genea is better than any other IVF provider.
And I think that the ad can't do everything at once. It just needs to create a bit of a warm, fuzzy feeling. Okay, cool. I'm trusting this company. And now I'm clicking around on the website, I'm talking to a consultant. As you said, this isn't buying a piece of chicken. This is more for commitment than buying a 90s German convertible. Like there's way more ongoing expenses. Like you're having a freaking kid. This is the biggest life decision ever.
Yeah.
So I think it can do it all in different parts. Like this has to be, we're talking about, sales conversions. This is the one.
These IVF brands don't have big budgets, so there's not going to be huge media weights behind this. The challenge will be it'll move a consumer to going, oh, I want to go IVF, but does it anchor Genea to that decision or not?
Another thing I liked in terms of the authenticity of having real customers in there, it's interesting of showing the shot and then that screen in the background. It's almost like the establishing shot is behind the scenes, which I think adds another air of authenticity. It's like, this is a studio. We asked families to come in. You can almost see the mechanics as the viewer as well, which I think it's not as polished as, let's say, the background of this show, but I think that really leans into it. It's a really beautiful nod.
Yeah, I'd have to support Marcus's assertion there over your assertion, and that is I still believe that the opening line is the most important line. And just because the semantics of the pronunciation, Genea, that almost the novelty in that itself is probably enough of a hook, honestly. And they should be congratulated for taking a very respectful piece of communication to a category that deserves that amount of respect and time and breathing space. But if it wasn't a Genea baby at the start, then it wouldn't be effective. It'd be. You're right.
Are you familiar with Affleck?
No.
Ben Affleck?
No, Affleck. It's an insurance company in the US.
Right.
No.
So they've got a really challenging name that is hard to recall. They created the Affleck duck. So like Affleck. It was a really different, unique. It was a play on the name. The interesting thing with Genea is there's something to the name that is very distinctive, unique.
Yeah.
is there an opportunity to lean into that? Now, that's a different play.
Okay, I've got a social strategy
yes.
for Genea. What we do is we get all of our kids, our customers, and we create a TikTok of them just trying to pronounce the brand name. That's the entire social strategy.
Yep. And still be true to the authenticity and the emotion that was created in that long form piece of content. I think you could do that too, couldn't you?
Yeah, definitely.
I think you could. Like this strategy has, there's Dr. Lynn who's doing incredible. She is winning market share. She's got number 1 IVF. She is the trusted advisor. She is the spokeswoman of the brand. And she shows up day in, day in. It's bright pink day in, day out. It's bright pink. Everything is really distinctive from a brand perspective. Genea, is it Genea? Is this a Monash IVF? Is this any submit, insert IVF brand? That's the opportunity. I love the asset. I love the direction of talking families more than newborn babies. The opportunity I see is how do you do a much better job of making Genea famous and known for the category, rather than just having a really emotive ad.
Yeah, true. I think, if you had a puzzle which played around that central theme, as Marcus said, you could have a lot of fun, not fun, but respectful ways of mispronunciation that you play on that word itself. But fundamentally, they should be congratulated for their bravery in taking a category which, again, deserves a lot of respect. The consumer buying funnel's enormously complex.
It is.
And doing full respect to that, good on them. And not in a traditional way like, hey, sort of baby in arms type of thing. You're projecting 5, 10, 20 years into the future. And that's what you're buying is what you say.
Well, it is, and that's the interesting part. You think you're buying a newborn baby, you're not. You're buying the family and the emotion that comes with family.
Yeah, so that's
the distinctive, and that is where they've nailed the piece of research rather than what consciously you'd think is the right move.
So I actually think that this asset or something similar to this would actually work really well on Pinterest. And the reason is, different social media platforms, people imagine themselves in different versions. So when I'm on Twitter or X, I'm tweeting something that happened right now and I'm in the present. And when I'm on Instagram, I'm posting all of my cool photos from last month in my carousel and I'm in the past.
Yeah.
But Pinterest is a really interesting platform where we're always in the future because I'm planning the pins for my new holiday or my wedding. So it's interesting to think about customers, what are they in the past, the present, or the future on different platforms? So IVF and Pinterest, maybe there's something there.
Beautiful.
I love that. I think we should do a whole show on media mindsets.
Cool.
We really should. Because the more you plan to the mindset and in that consumer journey and know what that mindset is, and the more you craft the creative to that mindset, the more it works. Like, there's 20, 30, 40% better memory encoding, just going to the trouble of doing that. And that's really achievable.
Yeah. The Herald Sun. Someone's reading it in the Qantas Club.
Think about the mindset.
Yeah.
It's a different mindset. So you'd better tune your creative to that mindset and really get an unfair advantage, which is what the briefs usually ask us these days, isn't it?